What's going on? My name's Tori, and today we're talking about ZORIN OS Pro, and I just want to give you my honest opinion and first impressions. I've installed it on my Dell T5600 workstation. This is a great computer. It's actually a workstation. It's got 128 gigs of RAM, two Xenon processors, about 32V CPU available. And I really just didn't need the box anymore. I wasn't sure what to do with it, and I've been talking about Zorin OS Pro 16, so I thought, why not go ahead and install onto that box Zorin OS Pro, and then we can use VNC Viewer. Right now I'm using Real VNC to just go ahead and have a headless remote desktop anywhere, anytime for Linux, right? I can SSH to it and use CLI. I can use it as a remote server with VS Code extensions, and I can also just use it as a dev client, right? And use the GUI and the tools within it. I'll slowly start to use it more for day-to-day things as well, browsing the internet and just doing different things to get a better feel for how everything works. But so far, I gotta say, I'm loving ZORIN OS Pro, and yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the desktop. And we'll talk about it. Great. I'll show you some things. I'll give you a quick UI tour, show you some of the different appearance settings that you can use with the Pro version. And you should really consider purchasing a copy of this, right? It's only $39, and it is a really good Linux distribution. It's based on Ubuntu, which is based on Debian. So if you're familiar with Debian or Ubuntu, you'll feel right at home here. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump over to it and take a look. All right, so here we are in the UI, right? This is the Zorin desktop. This is my customized desktop. When you install this, it's going to look a bit different. I've got a cool background edit. I've got some dock bar settings tweaked here to change the way this all looks. I've got some software installed that I normally would use, such as VS Code, or maybe Chrome, or even a whole bunch of different apps. Now, it does come with some really nice Pro apps pre-installed, but I kind of did a little add remove on my own, and so this is what I'm left with here. Right? So I've got a bunch of different things on here, but really, that's not the point of this video. I just want to show you my thoughts and explain to you my thoughts and show you the UI and everything. So I think that Zorin is really cool, right? It's an excellent desktop. It gives you all the modern features you'd expect, and you can install applications from a variety of repositories. So the first thing we'll talk about is software installations, right? You can use the software application to add and remove software, right? You get to use the different repositories that are available. So, for example, you could install using apt, you could install using snap, or you could install Flatpaks. So, a couple different options there. I'm not saying you're limited to those, but that's all I'm aware of at this time. So, you can also use the App Store here as well, which I find useful. But if there's something, if there's something that you want to install that's not in there, you can go ahead and download a .debian file, a .deb, and you can install from that as well. So a bunch of different things. Let's bring up a terminal. So here you can see I've got BashTop running. BashTop is an awesome tool. If you want to install BashTop, it's similar to HTOP or Top, right? But just gives a prettier view here. So you can see I've got my cores, I've got all the different processing memory, the memory that's available. You can see the processing here. You can even see network statistics, which is why I really like it. So as a network engineer, working with the tool. Now this BashTop is not specific to Zorin. You can install it on anything, but for example, I install BashTop on my EVE-NG server. So I could fire up a CLI, SSH into the EVE-NG server and fire up BashTop and look at all the processing statistics right in the box. Pretty cool, right? But we're going to go ahead and just do runafast.com speed test. And you can see why I like the network statistics here, right? So you can see I'm getting a full gig right now, which is sweet. And you can see that those statistics did kind of, you can see the visual representation of that. Let's go ahead and do that again. And you'll be able to see the up down here and everything like that. So this is awesome. This allows us to do some really cool stuff and just monitor our box. But enough about Bash Top. We've also got Docker here running. I went ahead and installed Docker, so we can do a Docker PS command, and we can see what's available, what is there, what's running, the status, etc. So essentially, I've installed. I pulled down a netbox container and spun that up, so we can go ahead and use this as not only just a cool looking UI or a cool looking distribution, but we can also use this as our regular development client, right? So I'm going to be working on some netbox stuff at some point here for my home network, but you can see I've got that here stood up, ready to go. But looking at the different methods of software installation, remember we can use apt. So because this is built on top of Ubuntu, is Ubuntu based, right? You're going to get stability, you're going to get reliability, you're going to get apt package manager as well. So when you're updating, just go ahead and use your familiar sudo apt update or upgrade, right? So let's just say throw a -y on there, and we'll give it our password here, and then we can just check for operating system level updates, right? Some of these repositories are Ubuntu, and some of them are ZORIN. So all up to date as expected. And then if you want to do an upgrade, this doesn't hurt, right? Up to date, everything is upgraded. Nothing needs to be done here. But you can also use snap, right? So we can use the snap package manager here. So snap install bash top. Go ahead and fire this up. There you go. It's already installed. But if you wanted to install something using Flatpak, let's go ahead and do the -- help here. Flatpak is really cool because it allows you to do some interesting things. I don't know a ton about it, but you can basically install instances of applications, right? They're isolated, they're secure, they're basically containerized applications that don't run on top of the operating system natively. They're just kind of like floating container applications. That's why I can describe it right now. So we can do a let's just say if we want to go into the store here, we want to install Spotify, which I've already got installed. We can go ahead and do so. But anyway, so overall, my first impressions of ZORIN OS Pro are awesome, right? So some of the different things you get, your typical launcher here to your file manager launcher. You get your ZORIN appearance settings when you pay for the Pro version, and you can kind of make some changes here. You can do some really cool stuff with it, such as jumping from the different settings here to whatever, So I'm just going to leave mine set alone because I don't really want to mess with that right now, but go ahead and purchase ZORIN OS Pro. You can go ahead and navigate right over to it. Google, go to ZORIN. You can go into the website here and you can see that it's only $39 to download. So it's worth it. You can get the community version. You don't need to pay for it. But if you want the support and the pro features, please go ahead and pay for this. It is great. It's supposed to be like one of the best distributions for like your business, for example, right? Maybe you don't want to pay for Windows um, license keys for hundreds of computers, right? You can just install this. You can still use your Active Directory authentication and do all kinds of really cool stuff with it. So first impressions videos, this is my first one, right, on the channel. I don't have a lot of first impressions videos, and so it's really just me rambling here. I don't really have like a plan for this one. I just wanted to give you a nice little view of what I'm working with here. So like I said, we're going to be using this for writing Python code, and that's the majority of what I'll be doing here for now. I'll also use it as essentially my containers. I'll run containers on it. I'll run maybe do some Kubernetes type stuff with it, and go from there. But yeah, I hope this video has been good for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have, comment down below. Let me know what else you want to see with Zorin, and I could give you kind of more of an in-depth tour maybe. So thank you so much, and have a great day.
Tech, let's talk about tech, let's talk about tech. George Tech Talk. Let's talk about